My name is Rishi Singh. I'm a small business owner, husband, father, and a practicing member of the Sikh faith. And you know, I'm tired of the hatred that I see between different faith communities, because intolerance can be deadly. In Michigan, where I live, 2 Sikh men were shot because their attackers had assumptions about our beards and turbans. 1 victim died. So I'm making a TV show to tell you all about my faith and to explore the faiths of others. See, when Sikhism started 550 years ago in India, one of our core values has been to defend other people's right to practice their own faith. Now, I know the purpose of my life. In Sikhism, it's meeting God while you're alive. And I believe there is divinity in every human being. So join me and let's see where God meets us. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. We might be going to London.
What?
We might be going to London.
England?
England.
Okay.
So my friend Lin Thomas is Odawa, Native American. She taught Native American children in public schools, was elected to her tribe's council, and is shooting her own TV show about reconnecting to her ancestral traditions. As you know, my passion is to kind of educate people about Sikhism, not only Sikhism, but to kind of include all cultures and religions and what we have in common, to kind of break down those barriers. And I couldn't think of anyone better to team up with than you.
Me?
Yeah.
So I'm super awesome, isn't it?
You are super
No, I'm
awesome.
just
I'll eventually ask Lin to teach me about her spirituality, but I want her to start with the basics of Sikhism. What I'm proposing is that we find a Gurdwara, which is our place of worship, and you stay there for a week. And it would be wonderful for the viewers to see how we live on a very personal level that I don't think has ever been done before.
All right, you have to promise me to help me pronounce what you just said.
Gurdwara.
Gurdwara.
Yep. It means Guru's door. What do you say?
Door. Gurdwara.
Yep.
I stumble over my own tongue sometimes.
Is that a yes?
To go to London?
Yes.
For sure.
It's
do
game
it.
time. We're about to embark on an epic journey where we'll meditate, check out castles from a boat, and even get into a sword fight. But I guess you're wondering why England? While Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world, we're scattered all over the globe. But there's a place that's special to me called Harmonium Gurdwara. It's in Slough, England, and that's where I'm taking Lin. Harmonium Gurdwara is one of the most sacred places I have ever set foot in. It's more than a place of worship. It's a community, a place for spiritual enlightenment, and where I go to learn and get closer to meeting God. Thanks for having us, Raguji.
Would like to welcome you guys during your stay. We're very humbled and grateful that you're here because you're coming not as an ordinary person, but as a Sikh. So a Sikh is somebody who would like to learn about who they are, where they came from, and where they're going. So once again, thank you very much for coming. Waheguru Ka Khalsa.
It's been a grueling 26-hour trip, so we're calling it a night. Because first thing in the morning, Lin and I start our lessons. And by first thing, I mean first thing. The heart of Sikhism is Simran. You could call it meditation, but it's so much more. Explaining Simran to us is a volunteer named Deep. She specializes in teaching Simran.
Waheguru Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ki Fateh.
Welcome. We make sure that our heads are covered, shoes are off, hands are washed when we go into that room, out of the greatest respect for Guruji. Once we've sat down and we do, then that's when we'll start the Simran. And Simran is like meditation. I say like because it's actually significantly so much more. So you'll find what we'll do is we'll sit down, we'll be sat pretty much like this, and we're going to do Waheguru. Waheguru just means glorious God, wondrous God and everything. So, and we do it in 2 syllables. So you will just go Waheguru,
Guru,
Waheguru,
Guru.
Waheguru. Put your full focus in your voice. So, it's a focused practice. And any time your mind wanders, anytime you're going to just keep bringing it back, hence why it's called a practice. And then slowly, that internal chatter, that mind, will start listening. So, should we give it a go?
Yes, it's time for Lin and I to practice Simran. We've been invited to sit up front so Lin learns easier, but her native teachings emphasize humility in social settings, and this becomes her first learning moment.
Stepping up in front is it has nothing to do with like religious reasons. It's just
So
my
this will
personal
help you break down
comfortability.
your walls, right? We'll step up in the front, I'll be there with you. Our culture and religion is to give up the feeling of what other people are thinking. I'm here and my mind is here to take on the teachings from the Guru and progress spiritually, right? So don't worry about what everyone else thinks.
Okay.
And don't worry about the social norms. There's no social norms here. It's just, when you're sitting in front of the Guru, we're all equal. Folks come to this Gurdwara to meditate for hours. Since it's Lin's first time, we're going to start out with 20 minutes.
Guru, why?
But I'm curious about how she feels.
We pray verbally.
Sure.
And we think verbally.
Sure.
Right? So it's really hard to not
That's why
to
it's a
not
practice,
go back to
right?
where
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be praying and how I pray, and to pray how you pray.
Yeah. That's the goal, is to go from, millions of thoughts down to one thought, which is just you chanting, and then ultimately from 1 to 0. So that's the journey we're on.
Okay.
Clearing one's mind is hard enough. Doing it on an empty stomach is just not cool. So Gurdwaras the world over offer chai tea and food to anyone who comes inside, regardless of their faith. At this Gurdwara, they serve up to 1,000 meals in a day, but it's more than a meal. What matters is the act of service, what we call seva. And Lin and I will do our seva by serving at the food line. Babaji, can you tell us a little bit about the importance of seva in the Sikh religion?
Seva is a part of our life. Plus, it kills the ego. Me, mine, me. To keep your head down and be well.
Any Sikh can and should do seva, but the volunteers here, called sevadars, have trained spiritually for years before committing to this lifestyle. In Lin's community, though, seva is different.
When we have our ceremonies, it's the women who cook and do ceremony, and then we made sure that everyone who was doing the ceremonies, as we were cooking, we served them, we cooked, we served, we cleaned, we did everything. And it's like in this age of feminism, a lot of people are like, oh, you're serving, and it's not about
Female or
serving,
male.
it's about we all have these jobs and we respect each other. We all have our roles and responsibilities.
Because the Sikh is the mind, there's really no gender involved, right? Because the mind has no gender. So the service can take place by a man or a woman or anything like that. There's really no restrictions. It's very nice of you, thank you. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Did you enjoy the sermon?
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels.
You've done that 100 times, right? So
Yeah.
it's nothing.
I mean, we live for the community, within the community, by the community, so there's a lot of parallels.
But it's important for me, at least, to remember that you have to do it with love and devotion, not out of a chore or a necessity.
Right.
I think in any Gurdwara or any place of worship, there's a lot of volunteers that want to do the seva, but they have to wait their turn. So if you're doing it without love and devotion, you're really robbing someone else from
the experience
Exactly.
of bettering them.
Right. Now we're heading over to Guru Manu Granth's History Museum to learn about Sikh history. And Jay, whose seva is teaching Sunday school to children, made time to teach us. Lin is Native American, and her culture was being decimated around the same time our religion was being founded.
Well, Guru Nanak, the city Guru Nanak Dev Ji, our first Guru, obviously came to this world in the mid-15th century. He was born into a Hindu family, but his ideology and the way he was completely different. Essentially a revolutionary at his time. I mean, some of the concepts that he introduced in the mid-15th century, are things that society still haven't got their head around today.
Among these revolutionary ideas were the core pillars of Sikhism: freedom of religion, gender and class equality, and the idea that we can meet God while we're alive. Your way of living is very oriented with nature.
Right. But when we say religion, it's so much more than that for us. It's our Bima Dizawin, it's our way of life. And so it's not about, this idea of religion, but through...
It's a whole package.
It's the whole package, right?
Yeah,
you don't get
lifestyle.
It is. It's a
Yes.
complete lifestyle. It's how we live and maneuver with each
It's a
other
path, yeah.
and with nature.
This idea of a holistic lifestyle resonates with Sikhism, and over the centuries, there would be 9 more gurus, each leaving new teachings in our scriptures. For example, Sri Guru Amar Das Ji, our 3rd guru, advocated for women by demanding an end to a horrific practice in 16th century India.
Sati was when someone's husband would die and the woman would be forced to burn and be cremated alive with her dead husband. Sri Guru Amar Das Ji actually put a stop to that and said, this needs to stop. Why has a woman lost her value now all of a sudden just because her husband's died?
For ours, we're a matriarchal society. Traditionally, we're the decision makers, as elder women, and then you had the council of the elders too, but we're a matriarchal society.
As Jay continues our lessons, Lin makes another historic connection through a deadly disease.
So the 8th Guru, Sri Guru Harkrishan Sahib Ji, he knew that there was a smallpox outbreak. There were so many people that were ill. Knowing he was going to contract the disease and eventually die from the disease, he still put himself forward and said, actually, not only am I going to help these people, I'm going to cure them.
Smallpox was used against us, right? The government gifted us blankets infected with smallpox.
Oh my God, I didn't know, yeah. Sikhs have always endured persecution, but hearing what Native Americans have endured is just heartbreaking.
So after Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji, our 10th Guru, had merged with Waheguru and left this world, that was the dark ages for the Sikhs, where there was a price on every Sikh's head. Okay, there was this massive, yes, there was literally a price on every Sikh's head. And as you severed a head and put it on a spike, you would get paid for that, just to eliminate Sikhs off the face of this earth.
When you were mentioning that you had a price on your head, Native Americans did too. We have a national football team and their mascot's called the Redskins. But the term Redskins comes from putting a $5 bounty on men and $4 on women and $3 on children.
Sikhs eventually took up arms, becoming a warrior-stained community, down to our uniforms. More on that later. Lin's community also believes in defending what is sacred to them. Their term for warrior is Ogijida, and both of our communities have been Ogijida, even fighting alongside our oppressors when the cause was right. In Sikh's case, we allied with England in both world wars.
You fought side by side with the British, the United States, and the native people. We serve at the highest rates, per capita per any other race in the United States. So there's a lot of parallels here, and there's a lot of shared painful experience in history.
These are tough subjects, and we've been diving deep in meditation, service, and learning. But now we're taking a day off to enjoy the beauty of our host country. Yes, though England colonized and brutalized both her people and mine, Lin and I want to experience the beauty and humanity of England and its people today. Call it our individual exercise in forgiving. Restful day, we're back to our immersion. Simran, learning, and mopping the floors.
How did you find that, Lin?
It's very soothing, and so I find repetitive motion something very easy to do.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get into a meditative state while you're doing it.
And then it's so lovely because you can just hear the Simran going around in the Gurdwara.
So you can just get in tune with it.
Yeah, it just gets in tune with the Simran and you'll see if I just starts
And
as
then
well.
you use it as a rhythm.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki
You guys say it so fast. By the time I catch on, I'm like, the
By now, you probably noticed that there's a sort of musical greeting Sikhs exchange often. When we say it, we say Waheguru, which means glorious God, and the rest means that we belong to God, and so does anything we achieve. Speaking of music, Lin and I have an appointment to learn Kirtan, Sikh devotional music. So Lin, have you ever seen a drum this size?
I've seen a drum this round, not this high, in my community.
It's called a Nagara.
A Nagara.
Nagara. It's used when Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji enters the court and leaves the court. The sound is created when Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji enters and exits, and it represents the shabad that the mind hears when it enters and leaves the body. We're going to actually show you and kind of teach you what Kirtan is.
Kirtan is when religious hymns are sung mostly from Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and we call them shabads. What we have here is one of the most commonly used instruments, which is called a harmonium. So it's used through pumping the air in, and then you can get the keys notes. You can get the sound from the keys.
So what do we got over there?
So over there we have what's called a tabla, and it often accompanies the kirtan. Rishi, would you like to accompany us with the tabla today?
I would love to. I'm actually really good at it, but I'm going to have Deepu take it from here.
Okay.
Lin picks up the harmonium and singing pretty well. Me? Well, I did so bad at the tabla that I was downgraded to a much easier instrument. It may look easy, but this comes from years of practice.
Ready?
Hell yeah. Okay, that wasn't terrible, I guess. But hearing our teachers play is a completely different experience. Our experience of the divine is certainly internal. But our hosts at Guru Manya Granth Gurdwara have arranged a small excursion for me. See, I live in West Michigan, one of the most racially segregated parts of America. And today, I'll be guided through streets where my beard and turban are as commonplace as ball caps and t-shirts back home. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Welcome to Southall.
This is it.
Which is known as Mini Punjab. Punjabis known for hard-working people, well-travelled people. British invited them over. Come over to Britain, help us rebuild. And
Right after World War II.
After World War II, that's
makes
right. So Punjabis came in their thousands from the 1960s and 70s, and a lot of them happened to congregate in Southall. Now you see a thriving community.
Right.
There's the Punjab National Bank there. We've got our shops, we've got our restaurants. There's the first Punjabi newspaper headquarters over there.
Remarkable. It really is little Punjab.
Yeah, we've got two enormous Gurdwaras plus a few smaller Gurdwaras. Have you ever seen so many Sikhs or Punjabis in one place as you have in Southall today?
Well, I really haven't seen that many brown people in general in one space, right?
Sure.
We both come from the same place,
Yeah.
and I think he can parallel this with. I'm usually the only brown person in the room, let alone a street full of people.
Sure.
And there's nothing differentiating me from being able to walk down these streets.
Sure.
Whereas
Now-
at home, him and I both kind of like,
We get looks.
we
Yeah.
get looks.
Speaking of looks, there's something I've been looking forward to that I simply can't do at home. Can you believe this? I've never bought a turban in my life.
Oh wow, okay.
Someone usually brings it for me from India.
You've been gifted it.
I've been gifted it, right? I would really like the opportunity to be able to purchase a turban.
You've got a choice of half a dozen shops here.
That's remarkable.
And dozens of colours, so the world is your oyster. Here we are, one of the most famous turban shops in Southall. I get my turbans from here as well.
Oh, you do?
Sometimes, yes. It's really good choice here. And there you go, really wide variety of turbans here.
As a Sikh, my turban is not only an extension of my body, but a big part of my personality. My turbans are largely navy or black, but this teal is way out of my usual range. After color comes size. My turban is 5 meters long, the shopkeepers is 4, and some get them as big as 9. It's all preference, but it's also the best way to identify a Sikh. While we're on the topic, I want to explain a Sikh's uniform. So meet Prem, a true saint soldier. Now, there are 5 physical signs of a Sikh, and we call them the 5 Ks. Let's start with the turban and the word kesh, which means hair in Punjabi. Sikhs don't cut their hair or trim their beards, which would be cumbersome were it not for the turbans. When Sikhism was founded, only kings were allowed to wear turbans. So all Sikhs of any social background, gender, or country of origin are encouraged to wear a turban to show that we are all equal and have divinity within ourselves. And in combat, our turbans are both a minor cushion against blows and a ready head bandage. The next item is called a kada, generally a metal bracelet worn on the dominant hand. It represents our commitment to do good deeds, but it also serves a protective purpose. We also carry a small dagger. Okay, sometimes not so small. It's called a kirpan. It's a reminder that we have a duty to uphold people's freedom of religion and defend the oppressed. Sikhs are not allowed to use them as a weapon of aggression. It's also a special undergarment called kachera. It reminds us to be faithful to our spouses. It also kept us dressed and ready for battle while sleeping. The last K is called a kanga, and it's a comb. It represents hygiene, self-care, and self-respect. Hey, do you want to eat while we talk? Is that okay?
I do, thank you.
You made it, so you might as well enjoy it.
I do, I'm going to.
This is my second time having it.
Is
so
it?
Well done, yeah. In Sikhism, you've got really 3 important things that you've got to do, right? You've got to do Simran, you got to do Seva, and you got to do Qurbani.
How does the things that happen here translate into your
That's a really
everyday
good
life?
question. So it's important for us to leave what we learn just at the Gurdwara, because then it becomes a ritual.
So when we did Simran today, I kept bouncing, right? Like it's why it's called practice.
Right. Mine kept running away, you kept bringing it back.
And I had to pull it back, and I had to pull it back.
But now you're aware of it.
But now I'm aware of it, right? So now when I go to bed, and instead of letting it all just run wild,
keep it still.
Yeah, that's the key.
And that's the key. As our trip is in the final couple of days, I've got one burning question that I think will help me get at the heart of both my faith and Lin's. I think that's a very personal thing, right? When you tell someone, oh, you can meet God while you're alive.
Right.
So tell me your take on that.
For my community is the Creator's everywhere, right? So every day that we acknowledge the land we walk on, the air we breathe, the sky that we see, that's Creator. But to have a conversation, for me, that happens when I take the time to step outside and be in my quote-unquote church or place of worship, which is outside.
Speaking of stepping out, our final event this week is waiting for us on the top floor of the Gurdwara's parking ramp. This is Gatka. In our calling to be saint soldiers, this martial art trains us for the soldier part.
Now, in all of our battles, we were always outnumbered. Always outnumbered. So we had to develop strategies where we had to fight many, many people, and we were always surrounded. We always had what we call the kera, where you could be in the middle, fighting loads of people at the same time.
There's a reason he's using a sword while we're using sticks. The double length of the stick increases awareness of where the sword would be, because in Gatka, the sword is both defense and attack.
So we want to try to go scoop here. And it's very important that this weapon goes deep and covers the whole back. Yeah? Covers the whole back.
While I'm struggling with one stick, Lin just seems to pick it up, and I have no idea how.
That color guard
For
the marching band.
So that's good, because that's flags, right?
I think that's heroin. I think that's serious.
Now that we've practiced for a whole 20 minutes, it's time to try a sparring exercise with real swords. Me versus Lin.
Your shield's on the other side, but you can see touch. That's it. There we go. Okay, ready?
Sun's in my eye. That's a handy. week has come to a close. We learned how to do Simran, we practiced different forms of seva, we learned to do kirtan, singing from our scripture, and we experienced things that not every Sikh or even every Brit gets to experience. And while I'm sure Lin will unpack this experience on her own, and I will go back to Michigan and share what I learned, I can't wait to go into Lin's native community and learn how they meet God.
Support for Shaping Narratives comes from the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.